was just wondering if people would think the frame froze if I would do that. I guess not. Anyway, today we'll have a look at pen by this brand. I hit myself in the face. Not that funny. Visconti Firenze. Little box, cardboard outer box, very light because it's just cardboard. And in there was this. And in here is the new Pininfarina. You know the Pininfarina, they had that what was it called, the carbon graphite, that very fancy pen with the the cap is magnetic and the nib comes out and it's all super fancy. It's also really expensive. 1800 euros or something, whatever. It was very expensive. Well, now what Visconti did was create a, let's call it a budget version of that. So the fountain pen is only 395 euros, which is still a lot of money. The pen is skinned down in a lot of ways, but it's more affordable. And Joost from Appelboom Pennen kindly lent me one. In fact, he lent me two. A red one and a black one. Here we go, that's the box. These boxes have a very strong smell. I don't know what it is. I have noticed it before. I think it's the material. I know this may be irrelevant to some people, but it's a very strong odor. Anyway, more oddity than usual even. Let's put that aside. Let's have a look at the pen. I'm going to cover the parts of the pen, tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then we'll do a writing sample. Come in these cute little bags. I still have to do those ASMR videos because the nib writes. No, it's going to be like Mel Cuckfield. That would definitely not relax people. Okay, so I got two. I have the red one, I have the black one. Now the black one is actually a rollerball, but clearly same model, different color, right? Now because the red one's a fountain pen, I'm going to show you that one. I'll cover the parts of the pen, as I said. I tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and I'll do a writing sample. Now, I don't even know if I said thank you to Joost, but thank you for lending me yet another pen. The Pininfarina logo on top, slanted angle, I like that. It has Pininfarina on the side, you have to see how to orient that. I see all this lettering in it's sort of mirrored, so in the little LCD screen. So forgive me. There is Visconti right there on the clip. It has that sort of not the curved angle that they always have, but the little cool racing car-like attachment there. I like the way it's constructed. Then we have the barrel. All of this is precious resin. And there at the bottom there is the logo of Visconti. Again, I'm just checking the orientation. There you go. Precious resin, slightly translucent, not extremely translucent, but you can see some of the parts of the pen when you really hold it up to the light. And the cap is magnetic again, which is, I think, kind of cool. Then we have the section. Section material matches barrel and cap material. I always like that. And then we have that weird tubular nib that Visconti does. This is, according to Visconti, the chromium 18 material again, that they also use for the old opera crystal, the Typhoon model. They also used it on the actual Pininfarina. On that carbon graphite Pininfarina, it was the Smart Touch nib, which is what they called it, slightly upturned nib, as just like this one. And on that other Pininfarina, they made the grey silverish one with those carbon, the nano tubes, the fancy stuff. And I think it was actually called the Flex Touch nib, and that one that I really like because it was indeed more springy, because those chromium nibs, the Smart Touch nibs, are very rigid. At least the ones I used were very rigid. Now, interestingly enough, those nibs were all marked chromium 18, and on this one I don't see any marking. In any case, let me show you that nib up close if I can. It seems to be a little less polished than the other ones. It seems a bit coarser. On the side there it does say Smart Touch Visconti F, so this is a fine. Let me align that, maybe you can read it. You have the tubular design with the feed encased by the nib, and you can see that the tipping is slightly upturned, just a little bit. Okay, this pen is fed cartridge converter, so little converter there. What I did want to point out is these threads. The finish on them seems to be a little coarse. Alright, now the section, simple, just tapers down and then has a little metal ring. And that's it. When you hold it, it's a fairly beefy pen. The section is not super thin either, which I kind of like. And if you want, you can post it securely and you have I would say a pretty decently sized pen. Should you wonder, the clip of course is spring loaded and it's very smooth operation, so I like that. And of course the magnetic closure is kind of cool. Now, just for those of you who are thinking, well, you know, I may not want that fountain pen, I just checked. So it's $3.95 for the fountain pen and it's $3.25 for the rollerball. So you can also get a rollerball. And I have to say, I should kind of disinfect my hands now, but the rollerball is nice. I checked it and it's a very smooth writer. So those rollographic refills that Visconti makes, I'd never tried one, but it is nice. It is very smooth. I have to admit that. Okay, what do I think about the pen? Well, I will be honest. A lot of this appeals to me. I don't know if it's the sort of Ferrari red color, but I like it. I like the beefiness. I like this smooth clip. I kind of like the section. Not sure about the nib, but it does look streamlined, and Pininfarina being Pininfarina, they're involved in race cars. I thought I see the issue there. I like the overall looks. I just like it, and it's a lot more affordable than the super expensive retractable nib units are. However, I also see a couple of things that I don't like so much. Yes, it's precious resin, it's all plastic, it's a plastic pen, cartridge converter filled, not super spectacular. The nib, well, it writes well. I'm just using it again. I find it pretty smooth. I also hold my pen at a fairly high angle, so for me that upturned nib that works well. I also like that it writes, because sometimes with Visconti there are some issues with the quality control of their palladium nibs mainly, so it does write. Out of the box it writes. It's a fairly wet writer, so I like all of that. But I was talking about things I don't like so much. To me it's clear that Visconti was trying to make a more affordable pen here. And of course that's nice. If you look at the very expensive version of the Pininfarina pens and you look at this, you do see the difference. But you feel the difference as well. The material is not as nice. Where's my thing? The Visconti thing on the clip, the logo is not enamel. It's just laser engraved. I see a lot of laser engravings. I'm fairly certain that the engraving on the cap there is laser engraved. The nib, that's laser engraved. And as I showed before, I mean, those threads on the section that could be a little neater, especially at the bottom. I think it's not. It looks a little cheap. What also concerns me a little bit is that the threads on the inside of the barrel are metal. So metal on plastic. I think almost inevitably at some point the threads will strip, and then you can basically throw out the pen because you send it in for service. They have to replace the section basically. Also the nib, the polish it's not a mirror polish. Now it's possible they tried to go for that. They tried to go for a bit of a matte polish as opposed to a more like a mirror polish, which I've seen on the, as I said, that opera crystal that I had that had a chromium nib, which was a mirror polish. So I see a lot of potential in the pen. I also see a lot of things that I think could be a little better. The magnetic closure is super. I like it. It's fun. But with so much metal on the cap, it rotates like crazy. It doesn't unscrew the section because there's not enough purchase for that, and you're actually connecting the cap to the barrel, I thought. Or is that magnet up there? No, you're not. So this actually rotates. I haven't been able to unscrew the pen like that. You see, I can't even screw it back together. So that's great. A lot of potential, but for $395, I realize that's a lot cheaper than the let's call them the full-blown Pininfarinas. But I do think it's fairly expensive for the finish and the you know, all the what do you call that, accoutrements that you get, the laser engravings, all that stuff. I'm not sure. I think it's a pretty steep price for what it is. Would I buy one myself? If I got an awesome deal on it, maybe, because I do think there's a lot to love. I love that clip, I love the way it's connected there, I like the looks of it a lot, but I also see a couple of things that I think are a little bit too much of a cost-cutting decision. Okay, having said all of that, I hope that was useful input for you. We need to see how the pen writes. That's what's coming up next. English is hard. Measurements of the pen as well as high resolution pictures will be on the website sbrebrown.com. We'll see how the pen writes. Joost, thank you for lending me yet another set of pens. I really appreciate it. And that's all there's to it. One thing that I would like to do right before I go is that Lord Windermere is here because he wants to explain the origin of the name Pininfarina. I don't know why, but go on here, mate. So just so you know, okay, I'm just gonna move out the frame, may as well. Hello, lads and lasses. It's Lord Windermere. Yeah, so Pininfarina, as it's been called throughout this video, it's actually a mispronunciation. The pen was named after me. You can see that. Hold it up again, you bugger. Yeah, as you can see, it's not just the red. Lord Windermere red, obviously. But at some point, I was involved with a bird called Ina. She was really nice in a lot of ways, if you catch me drift. And to be honest, I'm still Pininfarina. So that's the reason the pen was named as it's named. Just so you know. Now, I'm hungry, so I'm going to have some crab salad. Just want you to know. And so it's to it. Bye! I do apologise for any of the previews that didn't make any sense, but leave it to Lord Windermere to irreparably damage anything. Let's write. Bye. Sorry. Here we go with the Visconti. Pininfarina, this is the fine, and the ink is Visconti turquoise. U-O-I. What's that? Turquoise. Anyway, you get the point. Bit of writing. Nice web writer. Even for a fine. Terrible X. Sorry. I have to say these things because otherwise people will be like, "Oh, you read a terrible X." Alright? Yeah? Okay. I like it. Fast writing. There is a little bit of feedback, but I like it. I can also see how this section is not for everyone. It's definitely on the beefier side of things and fairly long, so I guess you can start slipping a bit if you have smaller hands. Maybe it's a bit too thick. Wetness. That's nice and wet. It's so wet, in fact, that there's ink even on the plastic tablecloth. sbrebrown, why do you have a plastic tablecloth? Because I spill a lot. Okay. Line variation. Definitely some to be had. and even if you go fast, it keeps up, so very nice. Reverse writing, yep, it's possible. This is a fine nib, so you go from fine to extra fine if you enjoy such a thing. I like it, guys. Now, just because we're here anyway, and I happen to have one anyway, I thought maybe do a quick rollographic demo. This is an ink very much like Visconti's blue, the regular dark blue, which I've always enjoyed. It's smooth. I know I'm a fountain pen aficionado and not really a rollerball guy, but I can see the appeal of this. That is a smooth roller. So I definitely see the appeal in that. And I'll quickly cap it before people send me threads through email that I'm now using rollerballs. Don't worry, it's not gonna happen. But sometimes you have to do something spicy in it. Okay, guys, I hope this was useful. I just noticed when I cap this that you can get snagged on that magnet, so there's another piece of criticism. Hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later.